Guys, what's up? Alana here. Welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see, my nails are busted. Okay, I need to fill in, I need to fix a few nails, and it's just a lot going on right here. So I am going to be doing my fill in myself, and I'm going to show you guys how I do this at home. So the first thing that I'm doing is just removing this nail polish, and I'm just taking a cotton ball with some acetone on it and just going ahead and getting that off. Now, I do use regular nail polish right now. I don't have any gel polish yet, but I will be getting some soon, so I'll show you guys how all that works. But just going ahead and taking off that polish so we can go ahead and get started. Now, you probably will notice that my nails are kind of like a pinkish tinge. That's because I do use pink acrylic on my nails. I don't know why, I like pink acrylic. I don't know, maybe because I love pink, but I use pink acrylic, so I'm sure that along with a little bit of staining maybe from the red nail polish is why they look so red, but more so I think because of the acrylic color. Now, some of my nails have been fixed already. I fixed them off camera, and that's why my nails look so jacked up when I first got on camera. But I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Let me film this for you guys. So now you guys see me. I'm just taking my nail nippers, and I'm going in, and I'm pulling up anything that's lifted, any acrylic that is lifted off my nail. Like I said, I did already go through and fix a couple of nails, so there's not going to be any, much lifting at this point. Now this nail in particular, well, I'm just getting a little hangnail off right now, but this nail in particular I was worried about because there was some lifting and I did get some water trapped under there, and that is so dangerous, you guys, because that is how fungus is, and mildew grows under your nails and it just can be all bad. So I didn't plan on taking this nail off originally, but once I cut off the parts that were lifting, I noticed that the whole nail just kind of needed to to come off. So I went ahead and cut the rest of it off. Now, if I was trying to get this nail off, I normally would soak it off and not, cut it off, but So now that nail is finally off, I'm just looking at it to just make sure that there is no infection on the nail, and then I'm going to go ahead and buff it out to remove any of the excess glue, acrylic, and shine off of the nail plate so I can add a new nail and do an acrylic overlay on that later. I'm also going to cut down my fingernail because I have had this set on for a couple of weeks and it has grown out a little bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut the nail down and start fresh. And this is what it's looking like right now. So now I'm gonna go in with my file and I am going to my nails, and I'm just trying to make sure that the bottom is going to be nice and flat and smooth so that when I do the acrylic overlay, there's not such a huge noticeable kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but when you put acrylic on and you don't file down the area where the acrylic meets your nail, it's gonna show under that overlay. It's just gonna look really crazy, and I want everything to look as seamless as possible, so that's why I'm going ahead and I'm filing down all that. Now, if you are doing this yourself, just really be careful around your cuticle. You don't want to cut your skin down there. You don't want to cut the eponychium. And so I'm just showing you guys right here. So you see how there's like a huge gap between where my natural nail meets the acrylic? We don't want that. We want it to look as seamless as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue filing down all of these nails until they look nice and uniform. Now, normally when you go to the nail salon, they use a drill for this part. And pretty much that's basically what they're doing, is just sanding down the nail and making sure that everything is nice and smooth and prepping for that acrylic overlay. But, you know, I don't have a drill yet. So I'm doing everything by hand, and it's very time consuming, but, you know, practice makes perfect. And so it's really very time consuming, and that's why sometimes when you go to non-traditional salons, I would say like the traditional nail salons are like the Asian salons, but if you go to the non-traditional salons that are maybe like, I don't know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Most of them do everything by hand, and that's why it costs a little bit more sometimes, as opposed to paying, you know, $18 for a fill-in, because everything has to be done by hand, and it does take a lot of patience and skill and preciseness to make sure that you know, don't cut yourself and don't damage your nail or the skin surrounding the nail. So I'm still just filing on down, you guys. It takes me in total maybe about, I want to say like an hour and a half, maybe more than that, to do my own nails. So, and I apologize if I go out of frame every now and then. This was my first time doing all of this on camera, so sometimes trying to, you know, get in there and see what I'm doing and make sure that I'm doing it right, I went out of frame. Filing with your non-dominant hand on your dominant hand is so tricky, because you don't have a hand that's there holding on to your finger to make sure that it doesn't move, to make sure that it's positioned the way that you're positioning. And then the friction from the file, you know, against your finger sometimes like bends your finger every which way. So it does kind of hurt sometimes when I'm filing, because I'm so aggressive with the filing, and my poor little pinky is just like struggling here. And also, I do want to mention that I'm not really filing down my natural nail so much as I'm trying to file down the acrylic to meet where my natural nail is. So I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does make sense. But that's basically what I'm doing. And yeah, now I'm going in and I'm just pushing my cuticles back just to make sure that I can get a good adhesive. And then I'm going to go in with some of the nail primer before I start my acrylic overlay. And now I completely forgot, before I even put the primer on, I should have done this first, but I forgot. So went back and I needed to put a tip on this nail that I just took off. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my tips and measure it out, find one that fits. And I'm going to go ahead and apply my glue and just apply that tip with pressure and hold it down for a couple of seconds so that way it can stick nice and tight. And then I cut the nail down to match the nail in my other hand. Now, normally when I cut the nails down, I do use a nail cutter, which is specifically for cutting down tips, but I didn't have it within reach, and in the middle of a video, you know, nobody wants to get up and try to find something. So I'm actually just gonna use the little nipper to cut it. And then I'm going to go ahead and start shaping that nail somewhat. so I don't have to do so much shaping once I put that acrylic on. And again, I'm just going right over that tip and I'm filing that down so it meets where my natural nail is, and that way my acrylic application is nice and neat. Okay, so now we're ready to get the acrylic ready. Of course, like I said, I use pink acrylic powder, and then there is my liquid monomer. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip my brush in and get it ready for this application. So I'm using products, professional grade products from a professional nail supply store. But if you guys want to try this out yourselves at home, don't say that I told you to do it. But if you do, I will leave some links down in the description box below with some product recommendations in it, just to kind of help you figure out what it is that you would need to do something like this at home. And what I'm doing right now is just basically shaping that acrylic and molding it to where I need it to lay and smoothing it out. So as I'm, grabbing my bead, I'm putting it on to my nail, I'm smoothing it out, and then I'm just checking the nail from different sides to see how level it is. And you'll see me go back in and add like a little bit more acrylic here, a little bit more acrylic there. That's just because I'm trying to get it nice and leveled out so I don't have to do so much filing later. And once that nail is done, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. So you guys see I dipped it in the monomer. Now I have my powder, and I'm just gonna go ahead and place down that acrylic. Now most of the acrylic I'm concentrating towards the cuticle because I already have acrylic at the end of the nail and I don't want it to be too thick and too bulky. So I'm placing the bulk of my bead right there, closer to the cuticle, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mold that acrylic where I need it to go. Being very careful not to let the acrylic spill over the sides. You kind of got to get that right away, because if you don't, then it'll dry and it's going to create a huge mess for you. So right now, again, I went back in, I looked at the nail from different angles. I didn't feel like the nail was curved enough, so I went back in and did another couple of beads. And you see me going back in to make sure that I'm cleaning up around the cuticle. What I don't want is for there to be too much acrylic around my cuticle, because that's going to basically, it could be potentially dangerous. Your nail needs to be able to grow out, so there needs to be a little bit of space between where the acrylic ends and where your cuticle or eponychium begins, which is basically the skin right there around that cuticle area. So now I'm working on my dominant hand using my non-dominant hand. You guys can probably tell by the way that I'm holding the brush. I look like I don't even know, but it is kind of difficult, making sure that you're so precise, but practice makes perfect. And again, just clean up around that cuticle. So right now I'm working on that nail that I just replaced. So I'm obviously going to have to put a little bit more acrylic on this nail than I do on the other ones, because the other ones already, you know, were overlaid. This one, I started in the middle where the tip was, and then that's where I placed my first bead of acrylic, and then I drug it out to the tip of the nail. And then I went back in, I'm shaping it. I'm gonna add another bead up there towards the cuticle, and just remember to shape that out and clean up the cuticle. So now you guys can see I'm done with my set. A couple of the nails look a little bit more pink than others because I told you guys about that pink acrylic that I'm using. And I'm gonna go ahead and start filing once the nails are nice and dry. Now what you see me doing now with the file, I'm basically just reshaping the nails, and then you'll see me go around my cuticle. I'm just, again, making sure that there is space between the cuticle and where the acrylic starts, because I don't want to block my nail from being able to grow out, because like I said, that could definitely cause damage, so you don't want to do that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and shape those nails out. Again, at this point, you also want to be really careful about that cuticle area, because we don't want to cut ourselves. So it's all about the angle and, you know, the preciseness of getting around that cuticle and just making sure that you do not cut yourself, because girl, it will hurt, okay? It will hurt, I'm telling you. And every now and then you'll see me look to check my nails. I like to do that because sometimes I've been in situations where either me or someone else was doing my nails and they filed them and it was like filed crooked, and then, you know, you got to go back in. Back when I used to go to the nail salon and let them file my nails, sometimes they would just be filing and not even paying attention, and the next thing you know, I have a crooked nail, or, you know, one nail is shorter than the one on my other hand. Like, just no. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention. If you are doing this at home, make sure that you're paying attention to, you know, the shape. Look at it every now and then. Okay, so now I am done with the filing. I'm gonna go ahead and get my buffer, and I'm just smoothing and buffing out the nails and the edges just to make sure that everything is nice and smooth and ready for us to polish. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole entire process of doing my nails, because this is where you actually start to look like something. Every step before this is like, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. And then when you start to buff in, it's like, okay, here we go, honey. And now I'm going to do the other hand. When I'm doing the other hand, I don't know. I don't have much control over my left hand. So I kind of just hold the buffer in my left hand, and then I use my right hand to do most of the moving. That makes it so much easier for me to get this filing and buffing thing down. And so this is what my nails look like now that I've done the fill-in, and I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some cuticle oil to them and wash my hands so I can go ahead and start painting with my polish. And I'm just going through and checking the nails just to make sure that everything looks good and everything is nice and smooth and my cuticles are visible and there's no acrylic over on the sides and everything is just nice and neat, and it is. So now I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands and I'll be right back. So after I've washed my hands, I'm gonna go ahead in with my base coat. I will also have all of these polishes that I'm using linked down in the description box below, just in case you guys are interested. ESSIE is one of my favorite companies for nail polish. I just feel like their nail polish doesn't really chip like that. It stays on long. So I really like to use their base coat with their polishes too. If you are a professional, go to Salon Centric. You can get the ESSIE nail polishes for like $4 a piece as opposed to like $10 at Target, which is such a steal. And this color, I'm not sure what it is right now because I don't have it near me, but I will have it listed down below and probably somewhere on the screen. And I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 coats of this red color. And again, like I said, you guys, ESSIE is like one of my favorite nail polish companies. I love their nail polish. They always have really good, rich colors, and it's easy to apply. Their nail polishes don't ever get like gooey and sticky, and just, they always work for me. I don't have any problem with it drying, chipping, like coming off. It always just really does me really well. So in comparison to other nail polishes, that I have tried, like the Sally Hansen, that's a no-no. I hate that nail polish. The Fast Dry, that used to be my favorite, but I don't know. It used to start cracking and like, I don't know, it just wasn't doing me right. So I'm with ESSIE now. I have damn near every color that they make. And that's what I like to use when I'm using polish. So now I'm going in with my second coat. And over time, I have definitely learned how to paint my own nails, both hands, by myself. It has been a struggle. And trust me, I have been there, like getting polish all over the place. But I have a little bit more control over my non-dominant hand now at this point in my life. So it's not that much of an issue for me to paint my other hand. Yeah. Also, I want to let you guys know, if you don't know already, that when you put on nail polish, capping it is always a great idea. And that's pretty much just putting nail polish across the tip of the nail just to make sure that there isn't a lot of nail polish, coming off and stuff like that, because nobody likes chipped nail polish. So now that I'm done painting this hand, I let it dry for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go in with this gel top coat. Now this gel top coat is not by ESSIE, it's by a different company. I will also have that link down in the description box below. But I love that top coat. It gives a nice wet look. My nails are completely dry at this point, and I added a little bit of cuticle oil to my cuticles, and they look so much better, you guys. I'm so proud of myself. And yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Thumbs up if you guys want more nail videos, and thank you guys so much for watching. Until my next video, I love you guys. Bye.